I have a big legislative session coming up. I made promises to the folks about what I would deliver, and we're going to deliver a lot of wins over the next few months.
And Florida Republican lawmakers are not wasting any time getting started. They have filed a bill today that would expand on the so-called Don't Say Gay bill. It would restrict the use of pronouns in schools by requiring them to match the assigned identity of the person being described. They have also filed a bill that would eliminate the state's Democratic Party by directing the Florida Division of Elections to immediately cancel the filings of a political party to include its registration and approved status as a political party if the party's platform has previously advocated for or been in support of slavery or involuntary servitude. And that is because Southern Democrats, of course, advocated for and defended slavery during the Civil War. It's not exactly clear that these specific bills are backed by Governor DeSantis, but at least some Florida Republicans seem to think that in the current atmosphere, it's worth putting their names on them. And they come as the impact of other DeSantis actions are beginning to take effect. This was the campus in a new college in Sarasota, Florida, earlier today before a Board of Trustees meeting. Students gathered in protest over the 6 new conservative members who were appointed by Governor DeSantis earlier this year. Hours after that protest, the board voted to abolish the school's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office and to end its mandatory diversity training program. Just yesterday, Governor DeSantis capped off his plan to punish Disney World for speaking out about his Don't Say Gay bill by signing a bill into law that revokes Disney World's self-governing status. It allows DeSantis to appoint his political donors, including the co-founder of the conservative group Moms for Liberty. He can appoint them now to a 5-member board that will be responsible for the government services that district provides in its theme parks. The board will oversee infrastructure projects like road maintenance and sewage treatment, which all sounds, fairly normal. But the Washington Post notes that Governor DeSantis has another use in mind for this board. DeSantis suggested Monday that he is also expecting the board to act as a sort of moral arbiter for the company DeSantis has described as a woke Burbank corporation that is trying to inject woke ideology on children. Disney World. Joining us now is Florida State Representative Anna Eskamani. Representative Eskamani, thanks for joining us. I know you've been very involved in all of this, or at least the pushback on a lot of it. Let's just first start with Disney and the degree to which you think the governor is trying to weaponize state oversight to effectively cancel Disney culture, as it were.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Alex. And so much of what Governor DeSantis does is fake populism. As he talks about ending the corporate kingdom, he's been giving out billions of dollars in tax breaks to some of the state's largest corporations, Walt Disney World included. He's done nothing to close corporate tax loopholes. In fact, I have filed legislation to do just that. And at this point, Republicans have not committed to give me one hearing. In the case of Reedy Creek, the governor's ability to appoint all 5 members, and as you noted, feeding into extremism while also crony capitalism just highlights that he really isn't a guy that's tough on corporate actors. He actually just wields culture wars to his favor while continuing giving corporations the tax breaks that really they care the most about.
Can I just say, this seems like a detail, but I think it's important. The governor was married at Disneyland, right? The mouse looms large in the state of Florida. And I got to ask you, as a Floridian, I know that he's sort of framing this as a man versus a corporate megalith. But Disney's pretty popular in the state of Florida, isn't it? How does this play with residents of the state that he's the governor of?
Oh, absolutely. It is not something that locals approve. In fact, when you talk to Disney workers, overwhelmingly, they're concerned about the new 5-person board, especially knowing just the extremism of some of the members. The new chairman is a mega donor to DeSantis. He's given him $50,000 just a year ago. And so you talk to everyday workers, they want to love who they want to love. They wanted Disney to continue to support issues pertaining to equality. And the only reason why Disney even spoke out in support of LGBTQ plus kids was because their cast members demanded that they do so overwhelmingly. So, his behavior might appeal to a conservative base as he tries to out-Trump Trump, but it certainly does not appeal to the majority of Floridians who might not always vote in every election, but do see the cost of rent going up, cost of property insurance going up, and they see DeSantis attacking Disney, just a complete lack of prioritization and desire to create chaos instead of calm.
I got to say, I was in Florida this weekend visiting the campus of New College. We'll have more on that later. There's a ton of fear about what could happen to that institution and other institutions around the country if the governor is successful in his efforts to effectively overhaul the curriculum, the teaching staff, and the student body. Is he going to be successful? How much power do you think he can have? I know there's other legislation that could give him even more power in terms of advancing his ends.
Well, you got it, Alex. And thank you for coming to Florida and coming to New College, because though New College is a small college, it is mighty. And students, alumni, faculty are fighting back and really serving as the canary in the coal mine, because what happens at New College can happen to any one of our state universities. And if DeSantis were to become president of this country, will happen to universities and colleges across Florida. And what I stressed at the rally today at New College, and what I've stressed before to all of my students in state universities and colleges, is that every culture war is a class war. And what DeSantis really is doing is degrading public education so that those of us like myself, who grew up as a working class kid of immigrants. My mom passed away when I was 13 years old. If it wasn't for public education, I wouldn't be here with you right now. And so by degrading public education, you're basically creating a generation of young people who won't have efficacy, who won't have free thought, and will allow the status quo to remain the same, which is his end goal, which is why we have to fight back regardless of how difficult the battle is.